Good evening. My name is Joseph Newcomb, and we're going to go over the importance of voting. Voting. Does my vote even count? The general purpose of this is to persuade you on the effects of voting or the effects of not voting. The specific purpose of this is to persuade any listeners to register to vote and take advantage of your right. The central idea is the importance of voting. All people that are able to vote should vote. Very important. So, how many people are actually voting? Well, the total number of Americans eligible to vote is 218 million and some change. The total number of Americans that registered to vote are 146 million and change. The total number of Americans that actually voted was only 126 million and change. So as you see, these numbers are drastically changing. So the people that are eligible, to the people that are registered, to the people that actually show up to the polls to vote. In the 2012 presidential election, only 57.5% of eligible registered Americans voted. That is unacceptable. These statistics were obtained by statisticbrain.com, a very respected presidential election campaign statistics site. Another question is, why have people stopped voting? And then what can we do to persuade them to continue to vote or start voting again? The biggest reason voters said when they asked why they either didn't vote or they stopped voting or that they were too busy or that voting conflicted with their schedules. Other reasons included illnesses or disabilities, and just some were just flat out not interested in voting or felt their vote didn't count. And then others decided not to vote because they couldn't decide on a candidate, or they didn't like the candidate's policies. There wasn't a chosen candidate or something along that line. Something to do with the campaign or candidate or something. So they just chose not to vote. The biggest age group that's not voting is between 18 and 24-year-olds, males and females. For some reason, 18 to 24-year-olds, they're just not turning out to vote. Less than 50% in the 2012 presidential election were 18 to 24-year-old male and females. Either they're just not used to or accustomed to being able to vote, it slipped their mind, they didn't vote, or just whatever. But the youngest upcoming generations, there's lots of 18 to 24-year-olds that are eligible to vote that didn't vote. So we need to get that information out there and get these younger kids voting, because their vote counts just as much as anybody else's. The higher the age bracket, the more votes. Seniors 55 and older are the highest voter turnout, with over 77% in the 2012 presidential election. Again, these statistics were obtained by statisticbrain.com. Then you got to break down the people that cannot vote. Whether they've lost their right to vote before their age of 18, or they didn't vote. They never, even though they had the right, they never registered or took advantage of their right to vote when they were 18 and then lost the right to vote. So you got to account for those people also. They're the ones that are not voting as well in the elections, because they've lost that right to vote for one reason or another. And when you break down the biggest factor of why people that just flat out quit voting is they have lost all trust and faithfulness in the electoral system in the United States. I, for one, can't really blame them. I still vote, however, if it comes down to one vote, it's not going to be on my conscience. My vote's there. However, that is a big factor. Lost faith in the electoral system. People just strongly, deep down, feel their vote does not count. It's not the case. Everybody's vote counts. Even though your selected candidate doesn't win, your vote is still just as important as the next guy's vote. So again, we have to target that and regain the trust of the voters in the United States. If you follow voting trends, for whatever reason, they just feel the candidates have lost touch. Certain candidates want certain things. Certain groups of people don't agree with those things, so they lose that whole group of people. You might influence one person that influences 20 people, or vice versa. So bad vibes spread. So if one person has lost faith, they're going to continue to spread this, ill flavor that that there's no faith or trust in the judicial system or the electoral system. So again, that is a big issue that we have to do is getting trust back in the electoral system. Again, we need to continue to address the age group. 18 to 24-year-olds, biggest age group, got to get the kids voting. It's very important that the 18 to 24-year-olds, before they just run out and vote, they need to do their own research. They need to pick the best candidate that's best for their what they believe their belief system is, not just what the bandwagon is or what this guy's popular or this guy's saying I get free stuff, free school, free this. No such thing as free anything. Do your research before you vote. If you're the only one that votes for that person, that's fine because it's what you believe in. So make sure, get the information out there. Kids, go vote. 18 to 24-year-olds, go vote. Tell your friends, go vote. It's all good. Get used to it. It happens. Get the faith and the trust back in the United States electoral system. Thank you. Have a good night.